It's a Conspiracy is a proud member of the Alberta Podcast Network, locally grown and community supported. For other fun programming, please check out albertapodcastnetwork.com, where you can find fun shows like Quantum Kickflip.
Let's just do that there.
So this is episode 15. This is our St. Paddy's Day special 4, if you can believe it. 4. St. Paddy's 4, the Voyage home. Now, welcome back, everybody. Everyone. Good
morning.
Welcome back, everyone, to It's Conspiracy. This is the podcast where we lay out the beliefs behind selected conspiracy theories, alternative accounts, legends, myths, and more. I'm your host, Andrew, and I do not claim to be an expert on anything we're going to discuss today, and will probably be wrong about everything, because I really am having a hard time believing that this is our 4th St. Paddy's special. That's amazing. Where's the time gone? You know?
I keep it trapped in my memories.
Let me have a bit more time. It feels like we just started this thing.
First podcast, who this?
Oh, man. I was actually, before we started today, I was listening to the Where's My Mind? And it just was like, I can't believe how long it's been. Where's the time gone? Anyways. So, as always, if you'd like to see where we store our 4-leaf clovers from the county down, and please check out the episode description. It'll bring you the luck of the Irish to look upon it with great hopes in your wee heart and cry, aye, turn not your face from me and beguile the thrusts of the salty shore we stand upon. Turn your face, you lumpkin. And we are a proud member of the Alberta Podcast Network. Yay team, yay friends, yay squad. Trying to do an Irish thing, but it just always ends up coming out as like a weird Scottish, but not even really. Yeah. You can check us out at itsconspiracypodcast.com. I do have a child behind me today. You can probably hear him there. Yeah. Our Twitter at Is It a Conspiracy? That's run by the social media influencer, the Irish Madman. I should clarify, it's my child. It's not just some child.
Just a random child wandered into your basement.
It's my own child I keep in the basement. Our Facebook group, our Instagram page, it's a conspiracy podcast. That's run by Greg. Our email and our Patreon page, patreon.com/It's a Conspiracy. Righty then, joining the online distance communication time today is our friendly neighborhood Lord Charlie, and this well-to-do landowner with a heart of gold and a spleen of might will interject as his lordship sees fit. And I do appreciate the socially distanced digital company. We're all in this together. It's just the two of us today, the gruesome twosome.
Just this tag team.
Yeah. Tag team high fives. Now, Charlie, with a ta or a no, can you tell me if you've heard of either of these theories? Is Ireland maybe Atlantis, possibly?
No.
Okay. 5 fun facts about 4-leaf clovers.
No.
Okay. International Whiskey Day.
No.
Oh, boy.
Those across the board. No ties.
Okay. All right. Now, subject number 1. Is Ireland maybe Atlantis, possibly? But afterwards, there occurred violent earthquakes and floods, and in a single day and night of misfortune, all your warlike men in a body sank into the earth, and the island of Atlantis, in like manner, disappeared in the depths of the sea. In a world.
A world.
That's right. So in a world about 9,000 years before Plato was doing his philosophy thing, he told the story of Atlantis, the advanced civilization armed with lasers. And maybe they had dinosaurs that they had taught to they used them like horses. They could ride around on them shooting lasers. So
wait, what?
Yeah, that's amazing. These are some of the things that they say, some of the myths about Atlantis. We're not going to talk too much about Atlantis. That's kind of its own episode. But yeah, so basically it was like Atlantis sunk about 9,000 years before Plato was doing his scribbling.
Before he had his blog.
That's right. Yeah. And nowadays he would have been on a blog, on a Bitly. Let's fire up the Wayback Machine to 2004. Can we do that?
You betcha.
All the Frosted Tips, MySpace, Napoleon Dynamite, Britney Spears. God, this is the year Greg was born. This is amazing. We're And also,
He's not
in
even
the
here to defend himself or roll his eyes. I'll roll eyes for him.
Oh, thank you. Oh, wow. You have got a sassy eye roll.
There it is.
I mean, that's just for me. I appreciate
it. Works
that.
so good on the audio podcast.
Yeah, you can really hear Charlie's eyes just rolling around in his head. I don't even know what the sound effect to add for that is, but this is what eyes rolling around sound like. At the same time, in the sunny little island of Ireland, a theory was developed by a scientist named Ulf Erlingsson from Uppsala University in Switzerland. And he proudly claimed that Ireland is actually the long-lost country Atlantis. Now, this theory was met with shock from the prominence of Dr. Erlingsson, but was actually not the first time the Emerald Isle had been suggested as the possible true location of Prince Namor's aquatic domain. In 2003, writer Paul Dunbavin wrote a book called Atlantis of the West, a case for Britain's drowned megalithic civilization, in which he suggests Atlantis was an enormous island just by Ireland and sank after the Earth was struck by a comet, which forced a pole shift and the Earth's axis was changed some time ago. And in 1997, what a year that was, William Comyns Beaumont and Lewis Spence claimed to have found proof of Aquaman's Forbidden Kingdom approximately 100 miles off the coast of Land's End, Cornwall. Now, the difference with Dr. Erlingsson's theory was that he was suggesting that the Hill of Tara in County Meath, I'm probably pronouncing all of that wrong, was known as the ancient seat of the High Kings of Ireland. And this was actually the center of Atlantis. And in fact, the Hill of Tara is actually the ruins of an Atlantean temple. That's right. They were into temples. What made Dr. Erlingsson's so certain, aside from its ethereal charms, salty air, and enthusiastically hygienic people, there are, in fact, a few compelling bits of hard evidence that back up the case of Ireland being Atlantis. Yeah. Now, number one, maps drawn before 1550 and after 1660 consistently show an island to the northwest of Ireland. Strangely, this island, which does not exist today, has not appeared on maps since the 1660s. So it's almost like it vanished. Fact. Erlingsson's book points out that just like Atlantis, Ireland is 300 miles long, 200 miles wide, and widest over the middle. He said, Plato's Atlantis had a central plain surrounded by mountains. I've looked at geographical data, and of the 50 largest islands, there is only one that has a plain in the middle, and that's Ireland. Fact. Now, number three, according to Irish lore, the Hill of Tara was a meeting place for a coronation ceremony of the High Kings of Ireland. And according to Plato, the Atlantean kings had a special place that they would meet every 5 years. So,
and then every time they'd meet, they'd say, every 5 years we'll meet back here. Every 5 years we'll reconvene. We'll meet back here and we'll have another meeting.
On this very spot.
On this very spot.
I don't know who you are, but I'm going to find you. That's what we should try to do. If we do a Liam Neeson impression, everything will come out singing, sounding Irish. Maybe Atlantis didn't actually sink. Perhaps the good people of... Nah, it's still just going Scotty. Okay.
I was taken.
Okay, did that sound taken?
I was taken.
I don't know who you are or where you are, but I'm going to find you and kill you. Now, maybe Atlantis didn't actually sink. Perhaps the good people of the land decided to come up with a story in order to astound their enemies and be left alone. Fact. I don't know what this is.
I love it when Liam Neeson says fact.
Now, number five, I should clarify. I had an Irish guy lined up to read this stuff for us. And I talked to him the other day. He's like, I want to do it, but I came down. I've gotten sick. And I'm like, you and your sickness, but that's okay. He's probably going to hear this and feel bad. It's okay. And I understand and appreciate you.
Look what you're making Andrew do. Look what you're making Andrew do.
Now exactly. Now I got to embarrass your people.
Dreadfully sorry, lads. I was at death's door. Still got a touch of the black lung. And Andrew, your Irish accent sounds like absolute shite. Speak properly or feck off.
Number 5, Ireland has long stated that there are magical inhabitants living among the people. Some call them leprechauns. Some call them a bunch of dry shite gobs, but they're actually Atlanteans. So those little guys hiding gold, Atlanteans. Mark Hennessy, a geographer from Trinity College in Dublin who believes in science, said the theory was extremely far-fetched, and he was backed up by another science guy named Colin Breen, who said, "We know what the seabed around Ireland looks like. If there was a lost city there, we would know about it." A supporter, perhaps due to a similarly hilarious name, Dr. Ulf Struffmeyer,
Is that the second Ulf?
That's the second Ulf, and his last name is Struffmeyer. How great is that last name? Struffmeyer! Get me pictures of Spider-Man!
Feels like he should be an artist. You're like, yes, no, you're right. That is a Struffmeyer on my wall. Yes.
So a University of Galway instructor, he claimed he could understand the idea that Erlingsson was putting forward, but that he thought maybe he was looking for an imaginary utopia, and that possibly the science couldn't entirely support such wishful thinking. Now, we are left in the gentle arms of U2, who have spoken on this subject and said, "She's the wave, she turns the tide. She sees the man inside the child. It's all right, it's all right. Shamu, the mysterious whale." I think it's actually "She moves in mysterious ways." There's nothing but whales. Shamu, the mysterious whale.
The mysterious whale.
Whales are mysterious, but
very much so.
Oh, actually, I've got a bit of a spoiler. I've got to even think about this. There's a Shamu thing coming up in an episode soon.
Oh.
You'd be surprised at the dark history of Shamu, the mysterious whale. Okay, there's a little teaser.
Shamu on you for teasing that.
All right. So that's going to take us to what are we drinking? What are we drinking? What are you slurping out of this morning?
What are we drinking? Well, me, I'm keeping it nice and Canadian classic, sipping on an old style Pilsner. Staying true to its Western Canada roots, Old Style Pilsner is a well-balanced, clean, crisp lager beer with a medium body, a smooth palate, and a distinctive hoppy aroma and finish. And happy. Hoppy and happy.
Hoppy and happy.
How about you, buddy? What are you drinking?
Oh, I had a wonderful, I can still feel the lingering effects of it somewhat. So I'm an old man now. And on Friday evening, some friends, we got together. Charlie abandoned us. He didn't decide to participate in this one. And we watched the magnificently awful movie Highlander 2, which it is something to see, like the theatrical cut, not the one that they tried to put in an actual bit of plot, but the original one that came out. It is baffling and incredible. Anyways, so I was only going to drink one or two of these. And I was like, oh, what the heck? We only get Highlander 2 once in a while. And they were spectacular. I had the Django spiced white beer. So this is from the good people at Ale Architect. And it's too bad you can't see. So on the side, if you're looking at this can here, I don't know if you can see my screen or not.
Yep.
It's got that red part.
I mean, nobody else can, but I can.
You can. This is just for you, Charlie. This is just for you. So the part there that says Django. But if you look closely where the designs are, see how they're like a little bit different? Mm-hmm. The color. Yeah, every can has a slightly different pattern on it. Which I appreciate because I think
not the kind of thing that if you line up all the cans, it makes one big design.
I didn't line them all up to see if there was if it spells out a word like, hey, you can't say that.
Like when you used to buy VHS sets of VHS tapes, and then if you lined them all up, there would be one picture of the Starship Enterprise or something like that.
Oh, remember that? And someone would always lose the one in the middle, not the one on the end, but the one in the middle. Yeah. Speaking of the voyage home, that's But this is Let me read this here. According to the internet, Django is a Romani word meaning I awake. A fitting name for our first brew. Let us wake up your taste buds with a spice and a little tingle. Rise and shine. Ginger takes over for the traditional orange peel edition, and Szechuan pepper, not really a pepper at all, zaps your taste bud to life, complementing the earthy character of Belgian wit beer. I've never had a white beer that it's usually a little too orangey, and I don't care for that kind of thing. Thank you very much. Hop on your bike and away you go. But a Szechuan-y, peppery, spiced white beer, ale, have another one of those for sure. And I guess that's what are we?
That's what we drinking.
What are we drinking?
What we drinking?
And that's going to take us to advertisement number 1.
At ATB, we make banking work for you by offering both expert and practical advice in saving, budgeting, and paying off debt. And though your financial situation and the economy may change over time, you can be confident that your money is safe and secure with ATB. We have a history of doing what's right for our clients, especially when times are tough, because ATB was built to help Albertans. For more information, please visit atb.com.
Okay, we are back, and we are on subject number 2. 5 fun 4-leaf clover facts.
You mean shenanigans?
Do you remember St. Patrick?
As an acquaintance, yeah.
We learned about him in our first season. Aidan O'Donnell shared the story of St. Patrick, and he's actually, once again, let me just share my screen, because sharing is what friends do. I was just sharing a second ago. Here we go. So do you see?
There he is.
St. Patrick.
Yeah.
There he is there.
Sure.
And if you look in his right hand, he's holding a clover.
Broccoli. Oh,
it looks like broccoli a little bit.
clover.
Yeah.
You're right. No, that makes more sense.
It could be broccoli, but I think most people have assumed it's, yeah. Now, if you look on that, can you count how many leaves are on there?
3?
3, right? So I know it's a little hard to believe me, but leaf. So somehow along the way, it became very lucky to find the rare 4-leaf clover. And the whole thing got tied up with the fuss and the bamboozle around St. Patrick's Day. Here are 5 fun clover facts. Number 1, the 4 leaves stand for faith, hope, love, and luck. Number 2, 4-leaf clovers were considered Celtic charms and were believed to offer magical protection. They're also rumored to be magically delicious, like Charlie's bowl of Lucky Charms.
Yum!
Yeah, I don't think I've ever actually had a bowl of Lucky Charms in my life.
I know that I have, but I couldn't tell you the last time.
Yeah, I was forbidden such confections as a child myself.
No marshmallows.
Mm-hmm. Number 3, children in the Middle Ages believed they would be able to see fairies if they carried a 4-leaf clover. There's one there. Number 4, 4-leaf clovers are rare because there are actually no clover plants that produce 4 leaves naturally. That means 4-leaf clovers are actually mutants.
Ooh.
I know, right? Now, speaking of mutants, yeah, here's a little pop quiz for you, buddy.
Oh boy.
Who was the X-Men? Who was the X-Man from Ireland?
Banshee.
Oh,
Boom.
Ta-da! Come on.
That's easy.
You're wasting my time. Like what I thought, yeah. Number 5, it is rumored that there are more 4-leaf clovers in Ireland than anywhere in the rest of the world. So many lucks have I. I'll grant you wishes 3. They have lots of 4-leaf clovers. It's a fun place. Lots of luck.
I mean, that's how they named it, isn't it? That's how they named the whole place. I wish I knew what to name this place. That's what they said.
Oh, boy. Now, we shouldn't, one of these fun facts should be that they call it a shamrock and not a clover. But that would be 6. And I said 5. It's too late now.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, sorry. Take that out. Okay.
Look, we never really stick to these numbering conventions. You can count on that.
All right. Well, that's going to take us to advertisement number 2.
So dumb.
This episode is brought to you by Park Power, your friendly local utilities provider in Alberta, offering internet, electricity, and natural gas at low rates, awesome service, and profit sharing with local charities. In Alberta, you get to choose who to buy your internet, electricity, and natural gas from. Park Power has low overhead, which in turn allows them to offer low competitive rates. Reach out for a no obligations comparison by emailing estimates at parkpower.ca. If you decide to switch, it's easy. It's really just a change to your billing, and you can feel good knowing you are helping to give back to our communities with your utility bills. Learn more at parkpower.ca.
Now, subject number 3, Happy International Whiskey Day.
Ooh.
Now, International Whiskey Day, March 17th, may be the day that is affiliated with Guinness and whiskey in the hearts and minds and souls and livers of many, but the actual International Whiskey Day is on March 27. Celebrate the good times. Come on, people. We here at the It's a Conspiracy Family Friends Club believe in united fronts and don't like division, but in the whiskey world, your social standing is entirely defined by where you're from.
Oh,
so there's no escaping it. Where you're from,
you're born into it.
You're born into it and you'll never leave it. It's like a Dickens novel. American whiskey tends to be sweeter than other whiskeys and includes bourbon and rye and Tennessee. I just left it as Tennessee. I think
just got a little bit of Tennessee in every bottle.
A little bit of Tennessee. I wonder if that should have something else, but maybe not. Scotch whiskey tends to have an earthy flavor and includes blended Scotch and single malt Scotch. I hate saying the word Scotch, just say whiskey, but that's a battle that's been, anyways. Irish whiskeys, they tend to be light-bodied but more robust than Canadian whiskey and include Irish blend, single malt Irish, and single grain Irish. Now, Canadian whiskey, that tends to be light-bodied and fruity and includes Canadian. Once again, probably missing something. That includes Canadian. I'm assuming that should say Canadian rye whiskey. Okay, it includes Canadian.
Yep,
Canadian rye whiskey. Are you a rye guy? Are you down with the rye?
Aye.
I'm a rye guy. These whiskeys get distilled in their respective countries, and this gets very sticky on the rules. It is actually illegal in the UK to label something as being Scotch whiskey if it wasn't made in Scotland. Similarly, there are very strict regulations around what is a single malt, a blend, and a huge criteria on things like aging process and equipment used and like all kinds of stuff. So it's kind of like organic food. Like there's you got to stick to the process.
Right.
And don't try and fool anyone because they've got like police officers that'll bust you wide open.
No
crack
fooling.
Your skull open. Now, Lord Charles, in lieu of opinion time, can you share with me, I've got 2 things I'm going to ask you here, but what would be your favorite brand of whiskey? But that could be like rye or whatever. And how do you like to have it? Like, how are you?
Well, I'll tell you what my favorite brand is right now, which is
Right Meow.
Right Meow. I'm a big fan of Buffalo Trace. Are you familiar?
Niet.
Okay. Ancient buffalo carved paths through the wilderness that led American pioneers and explorers to new frontiers. One such trail led to the banks of the Kentucky River, where Buffalo Trace Distillery has been making bourbon whiskey the same way for more than 200 years. In tribute to the mighty buffalo and the rugged, independent spirit of the pioneers who followed them, we created our signature Buffalo Trace Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey.
Sounds pretty good.
Delicious. I mean, this deep amber whiskey has a complex aroma of vanilla, mint, and molasses, pleasantly sweet to the taste with notes of brown sugar and spice that give way to oak, toffee, dark fruit, and anise. This whiskey finishes long and smooth with serious depth. And it is very smooth. And as to how I like to drink it, I'm a fan for my whiskeys. I like one of those thicker cubed ice cubes, and then, just let it chill a little bit.
Like let the ice melt.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Okay, not the whole. You don't let it melt entirely.
No, just give it a little bit of time to kind of cool its surroundings, and then it's, that, in my opinion, is the peak whiskey drinking moment.
Yeah, it is. I'll get into
How about you? What do you got? What do you like?
I'm just going to go ahead and share mine here. So, my favorite whiskey, and I don't get it very often. It's a little on the expensive side, and I'm not a man of money,
Yeah.
So it is a Ardbeg, Ardbeg. We did sample this during our whiskey special. Do you remember that one?
And that was yes. If you remember our whiskey tasting special, were you actually at our whiskey tasting special? That's the question.
Yeah. Now, the Ardbeg is a 10-year-old single malt Revered around the world as the peatiest, smokiest, most complex single malt of them all, yet it does not flaunt the peat. Rather, it gives way to the natural sweetness of the malt to produce a whiskey of perfect balance. And it wins awards all the time. It's great. There's actually a version of Ardbeg that they made it, and then they shot the barrel out to space for
Space whiskey.
Space whiskey, and then they brought it back, and it was extremely expensive per bottle, but you can get space whiskey. So that's Ardbeg, and I'm like, okay, like I'm on board with you guys. You don't need to you had me already.
I was already part of the team.
Yeah. Now my favorite way to drink this would be very similar. I've got a little Death Star ice cube thing that I will pop that into an appropriate glass with the little bubble in the bottom so it stays on the top. I'll pour in an ounce or two, let the ice melt. I usually let the ice melt entirely. So if I'm going to share a whiskey with someone, I'm like, I'll pour it now, but we're going to have to wait like a half an hour to drink it.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I do have a lot of relatives in Scotland that were all over the whiskey stones. Have you ever used these before?
Yeah, I've had them, but I've never really been the biggest fan of them. I have them and I've tried them before, but just for me, just that little bit of water mixing in just does something. Just makes it just right, you know?
When it cools down,
yeah,
and it's just that perfect watery level, you're like, oh, this is absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
You know, you're in a good place to. Have you ever seen it where I don't know if I've ever seen it in Canada. It's outside of a cigar bar I went to one time, where you're buying your whiskey, and up at the bar there's like a jug of water, and they're like, go ahead and add a little bit of water if you want.
Oh,
which doesn't sound super snappy, but that's what the places in like Scotland do. Like if you're in like they'll be like, here's your whiskey, and then the water's over there, and you just feel free to add as much or as little as you like.
Sure. That's nice. That's good.
Yeah, it is good. And I guarantee if you decide to put Coke in there, then somebody's going to break a bottle on your head. Drink it how you want, but just, I guess, like Charlie's feelings on sweatpants, just don't do that kind of thing in public, right?
That's right. Well, I'll tell you, I mean, like back in the day, a young me, you know, hopping around at the bars, I was a rye and ginger kind of guy. But as I've matured, now I definitely more so appreciate. I mean, I don't use it for mixed drinks anymore, obviously, but
you just drink it straight out of the bottle.
That's right.
Of all the carbonated beverages, ginger ale is probably the most civilized.
It seems very Canadian.
Yeah. Like if someone's like, I'm going to have a rye and orange pop, that just sounds kind of weird. But, yeah.
A rye and crush.
But yeah, okay, so that sounds like I think we're on board. I wish we were together. We could just be like, and here's a little snifter or something, a wee dram. What are you going to do for St. Patrick's Day this year?
It's not uncommon for me to go out and enjoy a Guinness or so, and you know, so a whiskey or so. Go
out and enjoy a Guinness and a whiskey. Maybe see some live music. Go home.
See some live music. Perform some live music.
Yeah.
How about you? What do you got going on?
Well, it's a Thursday this year, so I'm gonna get out a little bit. I'll probably go somewhere, have a Guinness. I would love to have a whiskey as well, but I work the next day, and I don't know about how you feel on this, but if I had both of those, it's like game over the next day. Like I'll be just
you better book Friday off, pal.
Oh, I know. It's just getting old, right? And I don't know what happened because I'll be like, I should have another one. I'll talk myself into it every once in a while, and then
this will be fine.
Like
I'll be fine.
I'm still functioning, but the next day I'll be like, oh, my brain, my skull. Why? I might have to have a delayed St. Patrick's Day this year.
Drink it up while you can, youngins, because it gets tougher when you get older. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Youth.
Enjoy
your youth. All right, then, me Blarney Stones. Thanks so much for swinging by, and we sure do appreciate your company. And we do indeed hope that you will be back with us for episode 16 later this month. In the meantime, if you're needing some jigs and reels right in the feels, then slide into our past cast and social media stuff at itsaconspiracypodcast.com. Talk to you soon. Take care, and happy St. Paddy's Day and happy International Whiskey Day. Happy day. Happy all of the days.
Happy day. Bye.
Little one.